So when I came out here, I noticed that I left somehow or another I hit the switch on this and I left this light bar on, and it's been on since about 3 o'clock, and it's almost 11 o'clock at night. So yeah, it's been on for a long time. And let me show you what my voltage looks like. I haven't started it or anything. That's where my voltage is sitting at right now. So let's get the key and see if the Trunk Thunder Lithium's holding up. Gotta love it. Just fired right up. You ain't rocking Trunk Thunder Lithium, baby. You're doing it wrong. What's that? 3 to 11? That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 8 hours. So that light bar was on for 8 hours out here, and the voltage was still sitting at 12 volts, and it just fired right up, no problem. I mean, damn. So for those of y'all who don't know already, I'm going to walk you through how I'm going to tune. Now, I could always hook up my DSP to my mic and run an auto tune, but today I'm going to show you how I do it. So the first thing I do is I use this frequency generator, and let me show you that. I want you to see what I'm running. Let's go back to here. So take a look at this frequency generator. That's what you want. And you want that RTA Pro. Those are the 2 apps you want. So first we run the frequency generator, and then we set it up. Let me find it. It's this one. So what we want is pink noise. So the difference is, white noise is fuzzy sound with the lows rolled off. Brown noise is the fuzzy sound with the highs rolled off. Pink noise is nice and flat. So what we want is pink noise, and we'll go ahead and start that. And you can hear it in the background right now. I'm going to turn it down though, so it's not disturbing us. And then we'll go back while that's running, and it'll continue to run. Go back to RTA Pro, and then you'll see this graph. Now you can set this thing up. Now mind you, this is running off the mic on this tablet, so it's not perfect, okay? It's not perfect. But it's remarkably good. Let me crank up the pink noise, and you can kind of see what it is. Right now we're getting ambient sounds, engine idle, me talking, all that stuff is all making this hump down here, but the pink noise will kind of overwhelm it. I'll show you. You see that dip right there? That's what we got to fix. So when I crank this up, that looks good right there. That's not bad. But then there's a null right here. And it's right at 250 hertz. The reason that null's there is because I had this, these main drivers up here in the front EQ'd specifically for a different driver that I had to put a null in to get it to nice and level. So I'm going to have to use I'll use my phone for my DSP, so I'll explain to you what I'm going to do after I do it. Alright, so at this point I've turned off channels 1 and 2, which are the A pillars, turned off channels 5 and 6, which is 5 is my sub down here and 6 is the subs in the back. And all I have is channels 3 and 4, which is just the 6.5s, the ones I'm wanting to EQ. So let's turn the volume. Oh, and I went into those and I set the EQ back to flat on those. So let's see what it looks like now. A little bit better. Still needs a boost around 250, 270. There's a little bit of a boost right there. And then around 15K needs to come down a little bit. So that tweak that I just showed you, which I had both left and right channels linked together. Hang on a minute. What's this dude doing? I'm gonna let him know there's somebody going on out here. Cruising the parking lot. Anyway, so I have the left and right channel linked together right now to get the basic tune, but I'm showing you that, and this is what we're at right now. That looks a lot better. So I got that peak out of there. It's a little bit smoother. Now, the idea is not to, let me freeze this. Okay, the idea is not to make, should I unfroze it? The idea is not to make this flat. The idea is to remove any stragglers that are doing anything odd. You want a gentleness, you want a smoothness. You can have a roll on and roll off and this kind of thing, but you don't want any big peaks or valleys. That's where you end up with weird sound. So if you get to something that looks like this, you're on the right track. Now here's the thing, for this null right here, we're down into my front woofer territory, so I'll catch that with that woofer, and that'll help pull that in. What I'm more interested in fixing is, and I did push up in this area, so I got a little bit more power going there, but what I'm interested in fixing now is probably this little swell on 8K and also the dip down here. Now, part of this dip down here at the very end is the microphone and its limitations. Okay, so we don't want to go crazy trying to get these last, this 14 to 20K up, because the microphone itself literally is not reading that accurately. So we're mainly focused on from like 10K all the way down to, you know, 125. This, which is really the main vocal range, which is obvious that the microphone would be good at picking up that because that's the range it needs to pick up. But we want to mainly focus on that vocal range, and we don't want any major peaks. Now there's some bounciness going on, but whenever I'm running it unfroze, you can kind of look and see any outliers that are really standing up. Another thing you can do with this is in the options, you can do some pretty cool stuff. So you can slow it down and speed it up, and this helps to get things right. Like you can select number of bands, and right now I've got 30 bands, which I have a 30 band EQ, so that makes sense. It makes it easier for me to track it, but you can run any number of bands you want. There's a lot of them there. And then there's a slow, the timing thing. Where's that at? I forgot where it was. Is it in here too? Yeah, it's in here somewhere. Save image, number of bands, peak hold, peak mode. Yeah, this one, integration time. So you set this to slow, and then the changes will be slower. Right? I just got it partially turned up. Let's go back in here and set it to extra slow. Now it really stabilizes. Lock in on these, and while I have that turned up, that's while I make adjustments while I can see that, and that helps me see what I'm doing to get a good generic tune going. Now once I get the those two channels that are mirrored, once I get in the ballpark, I'll separate those channels and I'll tune them one at a time, but in order to get that properly done, whenever you want to do channel by channel, left and right, you need to have the microphone for the device, the RTA. The microphone needs to be as close to your head as you can get it, because that's what you're doing. Since the speakers over here are close and down low, and the speakers over there are far away and off to your right, if they have the same exact sound coming out of them, by the time it comes to your ear, it's going to be different. So whenever you do a left channel tune and then a right channel tune, you're going to emphasize the sounds that are coming from the left. Let me turn on the light. This is bugging me. You're going to emphasize the sounds that are coming from down here and getting blocked. You're going to turn those up, right? So that when that sound from there gets to your ear, it sounds the same as the sound from over there getting to your ear, which makes it all sound right. But in order to get the RTA to show that difference, the microphone for the RTA needs to at least be like on your steering wheel, ideally up by your head, by your ear, right in the center of your headrest, but at least like in front of you in the driver's seat. Like you could use an RTA on your phone as close to your head, like right here, and that would be pretty close. It's not perfect, but it's something, right? So that would be the single channel left and right. Then you do left and right there. The same exact principle goes for all the drivers. You want them all to sound, have that slope at that position. So at this position right here, you want all drivers to have a nice even slope like that. Each one. Now if it's a woofer, it's just going to have an even slope down here and it's going to roll off. If it's tweeters, it's going to have a nice even slope up here and it's going to roll off. And these are mids, so they're going to ideally have a hump and then a roll off. But these things are pretty wide bands, so they're going to cover most of the spectrum. But you get the idea. You want a nice smooth hill, not a jagged mountain, right? You want a nice smooth hill, lows, nice smooth mid hill, nice smooth tweeter hill. That's what you're shooting for. Not flat, but smooth.